So you're behind the wheel of a massive rig. Well, let me tell you, the brakes under your feet are a whole different beast than the ones in your car. And not understanding that difference, it can be absolutely catastrophic. Today, we're gonna master your air brakes. And we're starting with the one concept that changes everything. That tiny, split-second delay that defines safety on the road.
When you're in your car and you hit the brakes, it feels pretty much instant, right? Well, in the truck, there's a delay. We call it brake lag. See, it's the time it takes for all that compressed air to travel through the lines and actually get the brakes to work. Now, it might only be a fraction of a second, but at 55 miles per hour, that tiny fraction of a second means you've traveled half a football field before you even start slowing down. Think about that.
So what's the number one, the single biggest mistake drivers make with this whole brake lag thing? It's thinking it's just some small factor. In reality, it completely rewrites the rules of stopping. Underestimating this delay, that is the root cause of so many accidents that could have been prevented.
To really see why, let's break down every single moment of a stop. It all starts with perception distance. That's the time it takes for your brain to even see a hazard. Then comes reaction distance, the time it takes for you to actually move your foot to the brake pedal. Now, every driver deals with those too. But with air brakes, we have to add a third, invisible distance you travel, brake lag distance.
And here's the craziest part. Your brakes haven't even started working yet. No, really, only after that lag is over do we get to the effective braking distance, the actual ground you cover while the truck is finally slowing down. And that puts the full picture together. See? That extra block of time and distance for brake lag is exactly why a truck's stopping distance is so much longer than a car's. Forgetting about that piece of the puzzle is a recipe for disaster. So the main takeaway here is this. You're not just managing your own reaction time, you're managing your vehicle's reaction time too.
Okay, so how do we actually manage this system out in the real world? Well, it all starts before you even turn the key. Let's walk through the pre-trip safety checks because these are your absolute first line of defense against brake failure.
These 3 checks right here, they are totally non-negotiable. First, you test the low-pressure warning. You need to know, will the truck actually tell you if there's a problem? Second, you check the pressure buildup to make sure the compressor is doing its job. And finally, you confirm that the spring brakes pop out like they're supposed to as a fail-safe. It's like having a quick conversation with your truck, and you really need to listen to what it's telling you before you hit the road.
After those air system checks, there's one more super simple physical test. You set the parking brake, put the truck in a low gear, and just gently pull against it. You're just making absolutely sure that brake is going to hold. It's a quick little tug that gives you total peace of mind. Okay, you're all checked out. You're on the move. Let's tackle one of the toughest scenarios for any driver, managing your speed and your brakes on a long, steep downgrade.
This quote right here from the manual is the golden rule of driving downhill. Let me say that again. Your brakes are only a supplement. Your engine and your gear selection, that's what needs to do the heavy lifting. You find the right gear before you even start heading down, and then you only use the brakes in short, firm bursts just to keep your speed in check. And here's exactly why that golden rule is so important. If you ride your brakes all the way down a hill, they're going to overheat, and that leads to this terrifying thing called brake fade. The hotter those brakes get, the less they work, until they can fail completely. The way you prevent it? Let the engine do the work. Simple as that.
We've covered routine stuff, but what happens when things go sideways, when the unexpected happens? Let's break down how to handle those high-stakes emergency stops. Your reaction here has to be automatic, and it has to be correct.
In an emergency, how you brake depends on one thing and one thing only. Do you have an anti-lock braking system or ABS? If you've got working ABS, your job is simple. Push that brake pedal down hard and hold it. The system keeps the wheels from locking, so you can focus on steering. But without ABS, you are the anti-lock system. You have to brake firmly, but be ready to ease up and reapply if you feel the wheels start to lock up. That's how you avoid a skid. Knowing which truck you're in is absolutely vital.
Now listen, this is not a suggestion, it's a command. If that low air pressure warning light or buzzer comes on while you're driving, it means your air supply is failing. You have a very, very limited number of times you can hit those brakes before they're gone. The only safe thing to do is find the first possible place to pull over and stop, period.
All right, you did it. You finished your route, you're parked for the day, but your job isn't quite over yet. There's one last, simple task that prevents a complete disaster the next day.
Every single day, without fail, you have to drain your air tanks. Why? Well, think about it. When you compress air, you create moisture, and that water collects in the tanks. In cold weather, what does water do? It freezes. And if that ice blocks your air lines, well, if the air can't get to the brakes won't work. It's a 2-minute job that can literally be the difference between stopping and not stopping.
And you know, that's really what it all comes down to. This system is powerful, for sure, but it's not magic. It demands your knowledge, your respect, and your constant attention. It's about so much more than just pushing a pedal. It's about anticipating, preparing, and truly understanding the forces at your command. So stay sharp out there and stay safe.